Welcome back to my channel. Um, I hope you have been practicing what we have been putting out on this channel and you found value. And today I just want to welcome you to another session. We know that Valentine's Day is coming up soon, and we want to come up with some interesting recipes that you can cook at home and impress probably your significant other or your family. So this meal is going to be very colorful, going with the theme of Valentine's Day, beetroot soup, chicken in the basket, and sweet potato roasties. And we shall serve it with a colorful, fresh garden salad. So we shall begin, and we are going to cook this concurrently, and I'll start with the soup. So what you require for the soup is beetroot, which you have peeled and chopped or cut it into smaller pieces. You require potato, just one big potato is enough, onion, salt. This is a vegetable stock, lemon juice, salt of course, and some spices that we shall show you. So let's begin. And of course I'm going to be using olive oil. So let's begin with the soup. So you need just approximate about 2 tablespoons of olive oil here. Let the pan heat a little bit, warm up before you add in the onions. You can just swirl the oil around. Then add the onions and cook the onions lightly for about 5 minutes or so, or not more than 5 minutes, and until it has wilted. But don't brown it, because if you brown it, it will alter the flavor of the soup. So as that is cooking, I'll lower the heat a bit. As I said, we are going to cook this concurrently. For the chicken in the basket, it's always good to use red meat or chicken legs and chicken thighs. I find it gives nice flavor. If you did the chicken breast, probably it would be dry. But if you use chicken thighs and chicken drumsticks, then it will still be soft inside and crispy outside. So the most important thing to do is to make sure that you remove the skin. Remove the skin of the chicken, remove excess parts of the chicken, because that is what carries the toxins of the chicken. So make sure you remove the excess part from the chicken. Some people love the skin, but we know the skin comes with its own problems. That is where most of the fat is actually stored. So if you want to avoid the fat, skin the chicken. So I'll cut it into even just 2 portions like that per leg. And if you don't like the ends of the chicken, the legs, the drumsticks, you can also remove it, but it's not a must. So once you have that done, make sure that the onion is not burning because we are cooking 2 things at the same time. I can see that it's properly sauteed. You need to add salt to taste. And the salt also helps the onions to sweat faster or to cook faster and not to stick on the pan. So that is ready. We add chopped beetroot, potato, and the potato gives the soup a body. I mean, it's not a must that you add the potato actually, but it helps it make the soup thick and to give it that smooth, silky consistency. And make sure that the beetroot, the potato has been well coated with the oil and the onion. We add black pepper, just a bit. We carrot. Once you're satisfied that all has been coated well, you add your vegetable. It's actually hot vegetable stock, about 2 liters. So you add it, the whole of it. Stir it again to make sure that the ingredients are well mixed. And then you bring it to boil and then turn down the heat to simmer it for about 25 minutes or so. So we shall leave that as we continue cooking the chicken. So I shall cover that. Always cover your food so that the nutrients do not escape, especially vitamin C. If you do not cover what you are cooking, vegetables especially, you lose all the vitamin C. And so it is always wise to cover your food when you're cooking. So cover that. That is cooking. As it is cooking, I'll just bring it to boil. And then I shall switch it down for it to simmer for 25 minutes or so. So for the chicken, to flavor it, because if you can't actually do, or some people do straight away like this, they fry it the way it is, but I prefer to infuse some flavors in the chicken before I coat it with the breadcrumbs. So the way I do that is I bring it to boil, so I'll put it in the pan. it with a little bit of water. Not a lot, just tiny so that it doesn't burn, because remember the chicken has its own juices, so that will make it cook. So transfer all the meat into the pan. And then add the spices. I'll add a mixture of turmeric and ginger ground, a teaspoon. That will also give it color and taste. I'll add some salt, cumin, a teaspoon, coriander, 2 teaspoons, and if you love chili, you can also add a bit of chili. So I'll add a tiny bit of chili because I like chili. And then you stir it and cover it to boil for about 10 minutes. So while the chicken is and the soup is cooking, I shall prepare the coating for the chicken, because you need to flavor the coating. And for me, I'll use freshly ground breadcrumbs. Okay, so once the soup is boiling, what you do, you lower the heat and simmer the soup for 20 minutes. When that is cooking, because that is also still boiling, the chicken, we want to flavor the breadcrumbs for coating the chicken once it's done. So what I use, of course you need to salt the breadcrumbs so that it is not tasteless. About a teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, a teaspoon of cumin powder, and if you want to give it that rich color, you can add a bit of turmeric powder. And I also like to add a bit of black pepper, ground black pepper. And then just use your hands to mix. Or if you are using a bowl, you can just use a whisk to whisk in all the spices. So just mix it in properly until it's all mixed well. You see now it's already changing color, and as I said, I prefer using freshly ground breadcrumbs, because the chicken will be more crispy and tasty. So you can always make your own breadcrumbs at home. You don't have to buy from the store. So that is well mixed. We put it aside until we are ready. As this is simmering, we need to add lemon juice. That will give it flavor, and it will also help to keep the color very rich. It will prevent oxidation of the beetroot. So it will keep that color, keep the enzymes alive, and keep that color very brilliant when you serve the soup. So we check chicken. And it doesn't have to really cook the chicken. You just boil it for a short time. It's mainly to infuse in all the spices to give it that nice flavor. So when you fry your chicken, the chicken will not be tasteless, you know, because if you had just boil it without any spices, when you fry it, it will not be tasty. So it is to help to infuse all the yumminess of the spices into the chicken. So it doesn't have to cook through. You can just boil it halfway. And then when you're satisfied that the spices have been infused into the chicken, you can switch it off. Because what you don't want to do also is to overboil the chicken. Because if you overboil the chicken, when you fry it, it will be very dry. So make sure that you do not overboil the chicken. Just boil it enough to infuse all those spices that you've added. So I'm switching off now. You should smell, it's really smelling very nice. The aroma is wonderful. And the color also as well is really changed because of the spices that you use. So it will be very colorful and tasty. Okay, now our soup has been cooking for 25 minutes or so. And I think the potatoes are cooked through. The beetroot is also cooked through, so what is remaining is to just blend it. You can use any blender, but for my case I'm going to use a stick blender. I find it easier to use a stick blender, but you can use a cup blender. Just keep blending until you're satisfied that it is smooth, yeah, and to the texture that you are happy with. It's almost getting there. Okay, that looks good. Thick enough. It's not too thin, it's not too thick. Until you're ready to serve, you can warm it up again. So that is the consistency you're looking for. Not too thin, not too thick, and very smooth. And look at that color, isn't that brilliant? It's beautiful and very nutritious as well. And actually for those people who are very sensitive to raw beetroot, this is the best way to have your beetroot. Cook it, because it will not be very harsh on your stomach. It will be digested easily, not like the raw beetroot. So if you have an issue with raw beetroot, make a soup and you will still benefit from its nutritional value. Now we are ready to start cooking our sweet potato. and the chicken. So I've put on the pan with the oil to heat up as I prepare the sweet potatoes. Remember, your sweet potatoes were cooked, so it's just peeling them and slicing them to the shape that you like. And make sure that you cook the sweet potato through. So then frying will be a lot easier, and it will make the potatoes very crispy and tasty also. It will like caramelize the sweet the sugar in the sweet potato. That will make it very, very tasty. For this also, if you have, like leftover sweet potato you had boiled before earlier, and you're wondering what to do with it, you want to come up with an interesting recipe, this is what you can do actually. You can just slice them up and fry them, and it will be a different meal altogether. Very tasty and very interesting. Yeah. And remember, sweet potatoes are very rich in fiber. As I'm peeling, I'm actually seeing a lot of fiber on it. So it's very good for your digestion as well, apart from being very rich in vitamin A. And so it is that alternative that you can use instead of using the potato chips. Just you change it and use sweet potato instead. So you slice it, not very thick or thin slices. And while you are doing that, put the pan on. Yeah. And you can cut it into as I said, any shape you like actually. But make sure it's not too thick or too thin. Yeah. That will make the sweet potato crispy and tasty. So the oil I'm going to use for frying is coconut oil. It gives it a very nice flavor, and it's also very healthy. So you don't need a lot. You just need to cover the pan with the oil, about 2 tablespoons on the size of that pan. And I like using the heavy pan, so it crisps better than when you use a lighter pan. Okay, so the pan is hot enough, but make sure it's not too hot. Just transfer the potatoes off and watch out, you don't burn yourself. And coconut, remember coconut oil goes very fast, so you have to keep an eye on it so you don't burn them. So when one side is done, you flip it over and fry the other side. So that's what we are going to do. We're just waiting for a few minutes and then we turn them over. And fry them until they are golden brown. Remove it from the pan and set it aside, and you can continue doing the chicken now once it is done. So make sure that you don't burn it though. I mean, you have to keep an eye to make sure that they are uniformly cooked on all sides. Our chicken is cooled down, so what we need to do, and I'll put on the stove, the oil is on, it's getting hot. So what we need to do now is to coat the chicken and start frying them. So you don't leave your potatoes to cool down too much. So you need 2 eggs. You don't have to whisk it too much. This is just to help the coating hold on to the chicken. So you roll the chicken like that. Remove excess egg. And then coat the chicken. And put it aside till you're ready to fry. Make sure you don't burn your potatoes. You see some are already done. You can already remove them and set it aside together with the cooked ones, so you don't overcook them, burn them. The more golden your sweet potatoes are, actually that is the caramelization of the sugar on the sweet potato, so it will become sweet. So don't worry so much that you're going to burn it, so long as it doesn't turn black, then you're okay. And that's why they also stick on the pan. It is the sugar on the sweet potato caramelizing. It's a caramelization process happening. So as those ones cook, I continue coating the chicken. If you see the pan is getting really dry, not enough oil, you can always add a bit of some more oil so that you don't burn your potatoes. But for my case, I think I'm still okay. And keeping an eye on the oil also, you don't burn it. If it gets too hot, it's not good for frying the chicken. And remember that we had actually spiced the breadcrumbs. That gives the chicken taste or flavor, more flavor. It's always better to do that. So the chicken inside will be tasty because we boiled it with spices, and outside will be also tasty and crunchy. And if you like a lot of crunch, you can actually double coat them. Double coating them means that you coat it once, like that. And then put it aside, and then come and put it again in the egg, coat to the egg, and then coat it with the breadcrumbs. That gives it a very thick coating, if you like it that way. But one coating is just enough. So the oil is hot, and we are ready to fry the chicken. And make sure it is not too hot. And put the chicken away from you. And don't put too many so that it fries faster. And then you fry it until it is golden brown on both sides. So you keep an eye. And when you're done, make sure that you have something that you have lined with a kitchen towel, so that you put it, once the chicken is done, you put it on the kitchen towel to drain off excess oil. Keep turning them so that one side does not cook faster than the top side. So it's advisable that you keep turning them so they are uniformly cooked. And we are looking for that golden brown color. It's pleasant to the eye, and you know it is cooked through. And when you bite into it, it will be crunchy and really yummy. So this way the chicken will stay very moist inside. Remember, you didn't overcook it when you were boiling it, but it will be very crispy outside. So it will be very, very delicious. Yeah, we are almost getting there with the first batch. See, that is a very nice color, golden brown. Wait for a minute or so for the temperatures to go up before you put in the second batch. Because if you put in when the oil is a bit cool, the chicken will absorb a lot of oil, and that is not what you're looking for. So the oil has heated up quite a bit, so I'm going to put it down. So for each side you fry for about 3 to 4 minutes, and you turn, a minute turn like that until you fry them for almost 8 minutes, then it's done. This really should not be like a daily dish that you have. This is something that you have, once in a while when you want to reward yourself for having achieved something. Or for this particular time, we celebrate Valentine's Day. So why not treat yourself to something nice that you miss? And you cook it at home. You know that you used clean oil, fresh ingredients, so you will not be like guilty eating it. Okay, for our salad we shall need vinaigrette. So for vinaigrette you add like 2 tablespoons into a glass, because you need to shake it, and olive oil, equal parts, and a bit of black pepper, salt, and and you can add the spices that you like. For me, I'm going to add mixed spices. What's the next spice? And a bit of mixed spices. And then you just shake it. You want to dress your salad, but make sure that you dress your salad when you're ready to take the food to the table. Don't dress your salad just after making it, because the salad will go limp. So dress it just before you take it to the table. This will be on top. And if you are not so sure that you are going to have the whole salad, then it's better not to dress the whole thing. Just you can dress it on the salad on your plate. So yeah, like that. And now we are ready to plate our food. Okay, so you have served your soup. Look at that color. Isn't that beautiful? And top it with sour cream. Look at those beautiful colors. And then you serve it with anything crispy that you have. Garnish it with grapes. So you can impress your guests, your celebrity, and serve them with that beautiful soup. So this is your finished product. The plate looks very beautiful, very inviting, and of course it goes very well with this time of celebration, Valentine's Day. It's red, it's crunchy food, it's beautiful, it's tasty, and yeah, so that is it. We hope that you're going to give it a try. Not really give it a try, but cook. And once you cook, choose to cook maybe even just the soup. If you are not ready to cook everything, post it. Let us know what your experience was. Let us also know if you enjoyed the meal. So we wish you the best, and we are looking forward to seeing you next time, as we prepare also ourselves to give you another option, another beautiful option, tasty option for Valentine's.